Tonight's recipe is a super easy meal. It's actually one I used to make as a newlywed. I got it on one of those free recipe cards from the grocery store. It's called salsa chicken, and you cut up some chicken. I'm gonna use the rest of this turkey breast from our anniversary dinner. And then you kind of make a sauce over it with 1 part salsa and 1 part peach or apricot jam. And I'm gonna be using these peach preserves. This is the batch that I didn't use pectin in, and it's just a little runnier than we want, so it'll be perfect for making this sauce. And then we'll serve it over rice. I have another super easy dinner set up for tonight. It doesn't even have a name. It's just something that Jeremy's mom kind of told me to make at one point when we were newlyweds, and she was, sharing an easy recipe or something. So basically, I'm going to brown some ground beef in a pot, and then I will add tomato juice to it to make it a soup. And I will add some Italian spices and herbs and onion and garlic powder. I'll add macaroni and boil that just right in the soup. And that is basically it. Just a super simple little, pasta and meat. Probably akin to a jar of Chef Boyardee or something like that, but just a little quick homemade dinner. So that's what we're doing tonight. So this meal isn't really coming from our homestead at all. All these ingredients are coming from more of what I've heard people call the prepper pantry. So just our kind of stockpile of canned goods and freezer goods that we keep on hand to have a short-term supply in case of emergency or busy nights like tonight. For tonight's 30-minute dinner, I am actually going to do breakfast for dinner. And I have 3 things that I like to do when I do pancakes for dinner as opposed to making them for breakfast. The first one is, most of the time I will end up making pumpkin pancakes because I feel like getting that good orange vegetable in there gets a nice punch of beta carotene and makes the dinner more nutritious for having the vegetable in there. So for tonight's dinner, I am using one of our butternut squash that we grew on the farm this year. And I had some time earlier in the day where I put it in the oven for 40 minutes. But if I hadn't had that time, I would have just used a can of canned pumpkin. Then we'll be using some fresh cow milk and some fresh homemade butter. I almost forgot to add one of our delicious homestead raised chicken eggs. So I'm mixing that in right here at the end. The second thing I like to do for sure when I'm making pancakes for dinner is I like to use whole wheat flour to make the pancakes. So this is our whole wheat flour that we ground, and I keep it stored in the freezer so that it will retain more of its nutrients. And then the fiber is really good as well. My third tip for serving pancakes is to serve them with peanut butter. Our kids have gotten used to this now, eating peanut butter with their pancakes. That way it gives them a little more protein and gives the pancakes a little bit more sticking power. Tonight for dinner, I'm gonna make really easy Mexican chicken soup. Of course, I am going to be making Mexican turkey soup because turkey is what we have in the freezer from last year. I'm going to start with some homemade turkey stock and bring that to a boil along with some diced tomatoes and add in the rice. And then I will cook it for about 15 minutes. Add a can of black beans, a half can of green chilies, some frozen corn from our garden last summer, and some chopped turkey. It's seasoned with a little bit of cumin and salt and pepper, and it's good with some fresh cilantro added if you happen to have that. minute dinner, I am going to make stew. I have thawed some stew meat from the quarter beef that we ordered this fall, and I am in a hurry trying to throw everything in the crock pot before I leave to pick up the kids from school. First, I'm chopping up some potatoes just from our storage, and then I'm chopping up some more of the carrots that we grew here last summer. I'm using up this onion from my storage. This is the last onion that's in there, and like, frankly, this is what onions in storage look like in February. Onions are biennial, and so this onion thinks that it's time to start growing again and to send up a flower stalk. So this is the pantry challenge. Use what you got till it's gone. And finally, I'm going to add a couple of homegrown cloves of garlic and then leave this whole thing to cook while we go do all our afternoon run around. Just as one more little bonus recipe, since this is my last video I am going to be making with recipes from the Pantry Challenge, I thought I would show you this additional breakfast idea. This is something I've been enjoying lately, a kind of fancy oatmeal bowl. A dollop of peanut butter is actually really good with oatmeal. And some chopped pecans, a sliced up banana. I prefer to freeze my bananas already peeled. They're just such a pain to try and peel when they're frozen. Drizzle the whole thing with a little bit of pure maple syrup and enjoy.